So have you ever promised yourself that you were going to handle a task or take care of a project and you look up a few hours later, maybe even look back a few days, weeks, months maybe, and you didn't get anything done? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk to you about 15 hacks that can help you quit procrastination for good. Now, if you're new to the channel, I'm Quintel Harcum. I founded Good Part& Company, a plant-based health cafe and juice bar located here in Baltimore, Maryland. Within the first few months of my business, I was able to put together a first-of-its-kind deal with Johns Hopkins, where I became their first wellness cafe operator and helped launch some health and wellness initiatives at the new facility on their campus. Off the success of that, I launched Green Book Digital, where I help service-based businesses leverage better digital strategies so they can attract, convert, and retain more clients. 95% of small businesses in the US use at least one technology platform. Basically, all business is online business, but all business owners are not online. They're not all tech savvy. They're not on social media. They don't understand digital strategy, especially some of my service-based businesses, because you have highly skilled professionals who are used to performing their skill set, taking care of their task, and doing whatever it takes to make their business run. Being online is not something they have time to do. That's why I put together the Digital Direction Blueprint. Put it together because it will really help you get a feel for where you are with your online presence, how to improve it, and then how to actually go execute. With the Digital Direction Blueprint, you get a one-on-one strategy session with me where we audit all of your strategy, online and offline, because it may be some gems that you have in real life that can really turn things up for you if you put it online. Then we'll customize actual content and digital strategy for you to build the presence, and then you'll get all the tools and all of the step-by-step processes you need to actually go out and execute your new digital strategy. So click the link in the description and book your own session with the Digital Direction Blueprint. Let's get back to the video. Now listen, if there's one thing I learned about procrastination is that it's not always bad. It's not bad because it is a good sign of intelligence and awareness. Because when you feel that resistance, you come up against that thing where you realize, man, I don't want to do this. That is a good sign that something about this is not right. Now, something about it could be you, it could be the relationship, it could be the project, it could be the circumstances of which it's under, but you're aware of it, and that's a good thing. And when it comes to business, if you're procrastinating a lot, it means either you don't know what you're doing, you know you shouldn't be doing it, or somebody else should be doing it. Maybe it's a low leverage task and it should be delegated. That should let you know in your business, if you're procrastinating, that you need to get that off your plate. And that's why I'm doing this video, because if we're going to build our businesses, if we're going to take things serious, if we're going to hit those 6 and those 7 figures, and we can't procrastinate, we have to maximize our time. I realized that a lot with Good Part& Company, and all of the things I learned from that, I'm going to take it over to Green Book and turn it up even more. Now, these hacks were inspired by a book called 17 Anti-Procrastination Hacks by Dominic Mann. I came across this book quite a while ago. I implemented some of the things. I was already doing some of the things, and now I'm going to share with you. I didn't like all 17. I liked some of them, so I put them into this list, and I added a bonus one. This is one that I started doing for myself. If you stick around to the end, I'm going to share that with you as well. So let's dive into this list. Now, as you can see, I ain't waste no time. I lined everything up so we can go over one by one and really break it down. So off top, the first thing you want to do to stop procrastinating. This one is really good. I'm glad this is how you start the list. So the way Dominic Mann did it, he framed them all as like mini strategies. And so I just implement these strategies daily. And this is number one, the next action habit. So stop looking at the entire project. That's when things feel overwhelming, too big, too cumbersome, too heavy to move by yourself or with the small team you may have in your business or something like that, right? Just focus on one physical action. It goes back to something I read from my boy Shane Parrish, right? With Clear Thinking and the Farnham Street blog, is that you need to focus on shorter goals. When things feel too big, the project feel too big, shorten the distance between where you are and what you can do next, right? So let's just focus on the next action habit. That's how Dominic Mann frames it. I like it. Ask yourself, what's the very next step you can do? So that's what I've been doing the last couple of weeks as I've been building up content over on LinkedIn. And I got a whole big strategy, some big ideas, but I had to reel it back in and think, what's the very next best thing I can do? And I'm going to show you something real quick. Matter of fact, so you can know that this is real. I have this planner here. Now, I have a whole bunch of my own planners. I got this template from my boy Brandon Carter. Talked about him in the last episode. But this is his the victory action planner, the victory success planner. I forgot, that's the vision the victory vision plan. That's what my man calls it. But I actually just changed the name up a little bit, added my little tweaks to it because I'm big in Notion. But these are one-off tasks, and these tasks allow me to just this is where I can just narrow my focus. What's the next best thing I can do? So boom, I got my goals. I ain't really want to show everybody that, but I got my goals. This is what we want to do. So that's what that's like. Now back to the list. The second strategy you can use is the 2 minute rule, right? Some people may call it the 5 minute rule, but if you can do it in 5 minutes or 2 minutes or less, just do it now. Don't make no exceptions, just get it done. The number one place that happens, especially people who have online businesses or have to do any kind of work on a computer, is at your desk. If you know you need to clean it off, and it's only going to take you about 5 minutes to straighten it up, to organize it before you leave the house or before you go get to bed or whatever, just do it right then and there. If you can do it in less than 2 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever the rule is you set for yourself, just give it a small window of time. If you can do it in that time, get it done. Then this third strategy, macro goals, micro quotas, kind of similar to the first strategy with the next action habit, but like I said, big things can feel overwhelming. Big goals can really paralyze you because it'll automatically, like your brain will really register really fast, like this is too much for me to handle. Even if you have a lot of courage, even if you're not scared, you may not have fear, you do understand that this might be too much for me to do. So you got to break things down into smaller, manageable chunks. And the good thing about that is you start to create momentum. You get one thing done, then the next thing done. And if you're doing it right, you're taking your time and you're appreciating the small wins. I ain't saying you gotta go pop a bottle just because you got one thing done off the list. All right. But you want to appreciate it because that's going to make you feel good about going forward and being in the game. If you go too long without appreciating what you get done, you'll feel like it's not worth it and there's no reward, right? It's the end is never, there's no finish line. And you don't want to feel that way. So you make some micro quotas and you're really going to be able to see or feel more progress as you continue to get things done. And it'll prevent you from procrastinating because you're doing a smaller thing and you feel good about that. It'll make you want to go on to do the next thing. Time blocks. That's the fourth one. So time blocks, I'm big on time blocks. I talk about it to people all the time. Like you really gotta protect your time, block out time, get things done. I'm not always the best at following it. I have a calendar of time blocks. I know that I need to have maker time because I need to create stuff, build, add value to the things that I'm creating to sell, to offer, to help. And so I need to work in time blocks. And it's really helpful for people in business. You have to have your time blocks. The good thing is, if you have a service-based business, you pretty much know at what time you're going to be administering your service, whatever it is, or practicing your service or doing your business things. And then you can build time blocks around all of those things. I start my time block at the very end of the day with the time that I'm supposed to be going to sleep. So somewhere between 9:30 and 10:30 is where I start. I know around that time is when I shut down and I build out the rest of my days after that. So that's what my time blocks look like. But you need to block out your calendar. If it's not in your calendar, you ain't serious about it. So in fact, we're not going to bluff. Let me show you. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So this is how my calendar look. And at the very, I start here at the bottom. So this is where I start and then I get through all of these things. So that's what I mean by having your time blocks. Now, distraction to-do list. I like this. This is clever. This is clever. The distraction to-do list is really clever because it allows you to indulge enough so that you don't feel like a prisoner of your work all the time. So don't fight the random thoughts. Don't fight the distraction. Let it flow. It's almost like meditating. You're going to have an idea, a thought is going to come. You capture that, you write it down on a separate list, you get back to work, and then when you have time, it's like rewarding yourself for getting things done. You have a list of the distractions that you can come back to. It's just like allowing yourself, like if you're doing time blocks, you allow yourself a certain time of the day to use Instagram or some social media or whatever your guilty pleasure may be. But you block out a guilt-free time, but that's after you do your priority work. So I like that, the distraction to-do list. And the distraction may not be just an idea. It could be the time that you had the urge to pick up your phone or to do something else. So what you do is you write down, I wanted to scroll. And one, it makes you more mindful of the urges and how often those urges come. And then it shows you how much control you have of those over those urges, because if you see them on the list, then you know you didn't do it and that you are in control of the situation. And that's what I mean about not letting your feelings dictate how you get things done. All right, so the distraction to-do list. Number 6, airplane mode days. This is big. Pretend you 30,000 feet up in the air, no Wi-Fi, no phone, just straight focus. Now they got Wi-Fi on planes and stuff now, but it's limited. Sometimes you don't want to pay for it, depending on what flight you're on, and you really can't do your thing. So another thing is that science has recently proven that when the altitude, that actually enhances your cognitive ability, and so instead of going to sleep, you spend time, focusing and getting busy. That's why some people can get things done at airports, and because that restriction is really helps you narrow your focus. But we're going to impose the restriction on ourselves with airplane mode days. Like literally put your phone on airplane mode, go away from the Wi-Fi, especially if you're on maker time and you can literally just write or type. Some people buy a whole separate word processors to do this, but you want to have those airplane mode type of days. Go into a room where you can work away from all of the things. If you can't just shut them down, right? You really have to remove yourself from where the distractions are. Number 7, process visualization. So a lot of times we talk about visualization, and you hear it often. We typically visualize the result, the outcome, because that correlates better to or triggers your brain to feel better. Okay, so if you ever listen to or Joe Dispenza, just Google Joe Dispenza, and he talks about the connection between the heart brain connection, the electromagnetic pulses, and all those good things. That's part of visualization. But process visualization is not just visualizing the end result. That makes you feel good, the whatever the car is that you want, the life that you want to live. But process is visualizing the actual steps it's going to take you to get there. When I started Good Part Company, once I got the keys to my shop, I started to visualize myself walking through the shop after I started going a few days. I started seeing myself walking through that entrance, right? Like I get to come in through the back door, right? I got a little, and it made me feel like I'm doing my thing. I'm doing something special. So I'm going in through the back door and I'm setting up shop. The back door, that's where like all the things get done, the inventory, the stock room. And then I started to visualize. That's when I started to come up with the color palette and how I wanted to have a certain kind of green that we had made at Sherwin-Williams, and then we had an accent green that we put into the bathroom to be a bit more calm, a bit more relaxing. We put that same green in the back room. It's like a mint color. If I have some photos, I'll pop them up here. But I started to visualize the process of what it's going to be like for me to go to my new cafe every day and build this thing up to be successful. I don't know yet what the successful cafe looks like, so I just know I want it to what I wanted to look like or how I wanted to feel, but I didn't know how it looked. But I actually watched myself through the process building up the cafe. And so process visualization is something that I actually used before I came across this book. So just try to practice the steps. And I talk about Michael Phelps, he's from Baltimore. So I keep track of what my man talks about. And he talked about him and his coach, his process of visualizing his races, diving into the pool, his pre-dive ritual, visualizing that, visualizing the dive, visualizing every stroke, visualizing getting to the end, doing the flip, hitting the wall, coming back, taking each breath. Like sometimes you really got to visualize it because your brain doesn't know the difference between, and I'm going on a bit here because visualization really does help. Your brain doesn't know the difference between imagined reality and what it's actually seeing with its real eyes, right? You have a mind's eye. So if you can train your brain to feel those processes, you will start to go and make and manifest those processes in real life because you will have practiced those motions in your mind. So I'm gonna leave it at that. Let's get into the next one. The power of don't. So this one is what helped me build out a different strategy that I'm gonna talk about later. But the power of don't. So replace I can't with I don't. I don't even like saying the word can. Like for real, I don't really use it along with the word try. But what we doing here is instead of saying I can't do a thing, is that I don't do a thing. And the reason why is because saying that you don't do something is far more empowering than what I can't do. The negative connotation with the word can't is just way worse. It's exactly what I said. It's a negative connotation. When you say you don't do something, you set that restraint and you know that that's not a boundary that you cross. So now you got all the strength that you need 100% between right here in this space. And so you don't do a thing is very empowering. And so if you know that you don't procrastinate, I don't do this at a certain time because you practice time blocking, then you become more and more effective at doing the things you say you want to do when you're supposed to do them, whether you want to or not. And number 9 is the tasty to do method. I don't probably like the name of it, but I totally get it. It's basically you make very specific tasks, you write them out in a way that's appetizing, right? It's bite size and appetizing. And this is something that I learned from Rabbi Daniel Lapin. It's business secrets from the Bible, right? And so there are a lot of success principles in the Bible. And his lesson, it wasn't necessarily in this book, but just following what he talks about. When he writes his to-do list, he write it as an action statement, and you start with a verb first, and that's making it specific. So instead of saying you just want to update your website on the to-do list, that's vague and bland and doesn't sound fun. Like you don't want to get to that. I understand why you want to procrastinate on that. I would. If you're not a website developer, you don't want to just sit and update my website. So instead of writing it that way, you're going to say, I'm going to write a new about page headline. That's the first step. That's the actionable step. That's the thing that locks your brain into the task that needs to get done. And then from there, you can go into the next thing. Oh, well, I got to write a sub headline. Now I got to write the next section. Next thing you know, you wireframing your whole website. So make the actual to-do list sound like a thing to do, being specific. And the next strategy to avoid procrastination actually uses procrastination to your advantage, and that is productive procrastination. So if you don't have time to tackle a big task, you think about, or you look, if you got an actual to-do list, what is a small important task that you can do instead. So instead of wasting time doing nothing, you can actually get momentum through taking action and getting a little something done, because a little bit is better than nothing. Trust me, a little bit is better than nothing. Even if you just read for a little bit, your brain understood. Two things happen. One, you acquire the knowledge, or you make progress on the task, but you register the mental muscle of doing what you say you're going to do, or overcoming that feeling or that urge to not do a thing. One thing that I'm not a big fan of, and I'm always mindful of not saying this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna save that. But as you can see here on my list, momentum is my theme for the year. So I was watching some videos with Ryan Holiday, the author, and he talks about how every year he has a word that's kind of like his guiding principle for the year. And I kind of like that, right? It's a stoic principle thing that he applies, and I like the stoicism vibe. Some of it, I was a philosophy major, so I get it. Momentum is my thing. I want to keep momentum. So every day I'm trying to do a thing towards what my goals are, even if it's something small. I got all kinds of checklists well, not all kinds. I got a few checklists, and looking at those checks make me feel good, and just knowing I'm on my A game. So momentum is my thing, and you've seen it already a couple times in this here list. Let's go on to the next one. Number 11, the butt and chair method. Shout out to Dominic Mann for just keeping it straight, plain, and practical, right? Writing in ways that people can just really get it, right? Kind of visual in the way that he titles these strategies to quit procrastinating. But the butt and chair method, I haven't practiced this one, but I like it. Actually, I have. When I was younger, I used to do this to a certain degree. Now I've heard that Seinfeld does this, or used to do this along with some other principles that made him such a great comedian. But the button chair method, if you got a task, a very specific task to do, especially in business, right? You gotta do payroll, you gotta do emails, you gotta do anything where you gotta sit on your computer or your laptop and get things done. You put your butt in the chair, and the only thing you can do while you sit in that chair for that time, you do time blocking, right? And you sit in that chair, is that task or those tasks. You can't do anything else. And even if you don't do the task that you assign to yourself, you can't do anything else. You just gotta sit there and thug it out. Now, what that's going to do is it's a forcing function. Well, I'm sitting in this chair. This is the method I say I'm gonna practice. I got my butt in the chair. I might as well get to start doing the thing. And you figure out a way to start getting it done. Getting a little bit of progress at a time, and you'll start getting momentum. But put your butt in the chair. It sounds so easy that it's easy enough not to do. But it's a good thing, especially if you can clear everything out. If you have the luxury of having like an empty room where you can just go in the room, sit down, and start doing the thing, or go to a cafe where you have Wi-Fi or something like that. But you have different distractions that don't get to you the same way, right? So the button chair method could be really useful, especially if you have like extra space or a garage or a dedicated space where you can just simply do very few things, right? Especially at a time. We're not trying to multitask doing the button chair. And this next one is one that I've been really using for the longest time, but I'm hitting master Jedi levels now, and this is the Pomodoro method, right? So you implement a Pomodoro work sprint. So if you don't know what Pomodoro method is, it is when you set a timer to do work, and then you take a break, a short break. When that break is over, you get back to work. It helps you get into flow state and you can focus a lot better, more intently, and get way more done. So I've been practicing this and I've been using it a long time. I'm gonna show you guys exactly how I started doing it. There's actually a app that I had for years called Focus Keeper. So the Pomodoro timer was based on a Pomodoro, like literally a Pomodoro timer where you like an egg timer where you turn it for 20 minutes or whatever. And so this timer setup is default. It starts at 25 minutes and it'll go for 25 minutes and then it'll be off for 25. I mean, off for 5. You do that 4 times. You got 2 hours of work. And you take a long break. When you practice this method, it will help build your concentration muscle. So you may go, for some people, they just got to start with 10 minutes on, 2 minutes off, or 1 minute off. Then you build up to 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I'm working past 25 minutes. Like I can sit still and focus for longer than 25 minutes. So I'm going a little bit longer, but I say I'm hitting Jedi levels now because I bought an actual device now. I don't have to touch my phone at all. I just bought the actual timer, and you can actually, I'll put the link in the description, but you can get one of these. And they have different variations on Amazon, but this is a Pomodoro timer, so it has different units of time: 25 minutes, 50 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. So that's what we have with it. That's probably one of my favorite strategies to help me to stop me from procrastinating, because I know when time is on, and I can just do the things I need to do. I even use the Pomodoro method to distraction time, right? So with the method before, with my distraction to-do list, when I give myself that guilt-free time to do my thing, I put myself on a timer. I'm only gonna give myself 25 minutes to watch YouTube or whatever I'm doing, and it's really really helpful. Now the next one, all right, now hack number 13: set clear deadlines. This one is tough because we always want to give ourselves a little more time, or we always feel like we don't know exactly how long it's going to take. Trust me, it's going to take longer than you think. But it's okay, because if you're chipping away every day, you make micro quotas, you chip away every day, you're going to get it done sooner than you think. So it's kind of weird. It's going to take longer than you think, but it'll get done before you thought it would. Okay, something like that. That's what I always notice. It takes longer than you think, but it doesn't take as long as you assume. So there's a service called Stick. It's basically an accountability app, and you can have an accountability friend. You let them know your deadlines, and it's deadlines are forcing functions, man. And I'm telling you, the best entrepreneurs that I know, and I'm trying to get to that level, they have super short deadlines. They try how like Elon Musk. Everybody loves him for everybody loves what he gets done. I can't say everybody loves him. Again, making another reference to him, but his deadlines are super short. How can we get this done? I don't want to get it done in 6 months. I want to get it done in 6 weeks. And it's a forcing function. So you need to have forcing functions, set clear deadlines. I've gotten better at it. Things that I would normally do in a week, I'm doing in 3 days, 2 days, one day if it's something where I know I can just clear the calendar and get it done. And you will just that's another thing that gives you momentum. That's really how I really trick myself into getting better with my momentum thing. Shorten the deadlines and they will just pick up the pace. And one of my mentors and friends who succeeds in business, like every time I'm around him, he's moving faster. He's not rushed. He's just moving faster. He's not wasting time. It's one of the biggest things I learned from him. So that's helped me out a lot. It's like he got automatic time ticket in his head. His deadlines is just like, can we get it done? How soon can we get it done? Not when can we get it done? How soon can we get it done? So that's how you gotta move. Now, this one, people take pride in this, and I don't be trying here. I'm a perfectionist. Man, get out of here with that. Kill your inner perfectionist. That's what's really got you out here procrastinating, stalling, being resentful, hating because you're not getting no numbers on the board because you keep trying to make everything perfect. Now, I've had people tell me that I'm a perfectionist before, and I appreciate it. I guess they were, giving me a compliment. I'm not trying to diss nobody, but I never looked at myself as I'm trying to get the thing done. Uh, Somehow I got over that like real early on. Like, I'm not as scared to fail, so I'll just put it out. But because I had more reps, because I was just less scared to fail, people thought I was being people thought what I was doing was close to good, and I really appreciate that. And I was like, this just better than what I did the last time I put something out. And that could be back when I had a clothing line, if it was designed for Good Part and Company, my smoothie recipes. I'm trying stuff. I ain't like it. I ain't sell it. But I got it done. I sampled it and ain't get no love. I went and made a new recipe, put that on the menu. People bought it. I was just moving faster, not trying to make it perfect, just trying to make it done. And we can just always iterate. And you got to focus on progress over perfection. So don't let inner perfectionist stop you from getting things done and cause you to procrastinate. Now, this 15th hack is, again, going back to building momentum through physics, like literally moving, getting in motion and doing the thing. So you complete one task and just go right into the next task. Like if you have a list of tasks to do or some kind of reminder or something like that, then it's better because you can just kind of see it. And so this last one goes back to my theme for the year, build momentum through physics. This is about really getting in motion and moving. So like what I did is that I have an actual whiteboard over here. I write a lot of things on the whiteboard and where I can see what I did and check it off. I like the physical, tangible effort of checking the thing off or erasing it off the whiteboard. I don't mind doing checklists digitally. That's cool too. But I prefer to write it down. So I'll get up, I'll write the ideas down, or I'll write my itinerary. I know what it was. So I have an actual list. One of the most successful times I ever had is when I had a whole list written out. I had a planner. When I did Good Part and Company, I had a big whiteboard with color coded sticky notes. And when I was doing my health coaching, I'm going to show you guys what I did in my health coaching. Let's check it out. So when I went in to start health coaching, I had to make myself a 30-day plan. Like, how can I get as much done in 30 days to launch this program and test whether or not this coaching thing is decent for me? And here is what I did. So I would map out the whole 30 days. So day 1 through day 6. Sometimes I can't really see past. You need a feedback loop. So you can't really. You may have you may have difficulty envisioning what things are going to be like past a certain amount of days. So what I did was I went day 1 to 6 with as much detail as possible. Then I did day 7 to 10, and I kind of listed out what was going to get done. Once I got to day 6, I could see what 7, 8, 9, 10 would be like. 11 to 13, and then day 14 through 20 was a repetitive thing, and then days 20 through 22 was a new follow-up and revision. 23 and 24 was playing some new creative things, and then day 25 to 30 was to actually launch the webinar campaign. So this gave me momentum. So this is in this whiteboard, like you see this handwritten. That's because I copied this whiteboard. Like I took the picture of the whiteboard and put it in my phone so I can see it and save it. But this is from back in 2023 when I was doing more coaching. But this is just proof, like this is how I actually apply these things, and it gives me momentum because I can see it. I see the numbers rolling, right? Numbers register as accumulative data points. Like you just really add up. Like that sounds nerdy, but it's really true. That's how your brain is registering things. So momentum through physics, like physical numbers, physical movements, physical motions. If you do a task here, get up, move, come back, get to the next task. Like momentum through physics. Even if it's just a minor task you're getting done, when you accomplish that, it registers to your brain as you did what you said you're going to do. And that gives you confidence because you know you're competent enough to get that thing done. Keep moving to the next thing. Success breeds more success. And like I told you, if you stick to the end, I got a bonus hack to help you quit procrastinating. Let's get into it. The bonus hack is reframing. Okay, this one ties back into what I talked about with changing I can't into I don't statements. Reframing is changing your whole position on the task or project that you have to do. Whenever you feel that resistance, right? I read The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. Everybody like it, classic book, check it out. When you feel that resistance, a lot of people say, I don't feel like doing this. And that is a natural human feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. The more you say it, the more you enable yourself or chip away at your desire to do it and also your energy towards getting the thing done. And it's okay. I understand you feel how you feel. But every time you say it, you tell yourself more that's how you are. It becomes more of a state of being than an action to take. And you don't want to be an action that you don't want to do. Okay, so you got to reframe it, and you need a fast reframing mechanism. Like it's like a feedback. You gotta, as soon as that resistance hit, you say no. You got to be able to reframe it and be like, I get to do this. Like you probably heard this before. Instead of saying I don't want to do this, I know I get to do this. You have to take it on. Like you got to take it head on. I don't really want to do these emails, or you know what, man. What I tell myself is I keep it real with myself. Man, I should have gave myself more time to get those emails done. As soon as I feel that resistance, like yo, I don't want to. Like a lot of it, it comes like say I got to do some stuff with banking can be intimidating when you're working on bigger sums of money if you're not used to it or something. And that was something where I always would procrastinator run. Like I gotta call the bank and do this, and it wasn't because my banking was messed up, but it's just stuff that gotta get handled, and you just don't feel like doing it. But instead of saying I don't feel like doing it, man, I gotta go make some time to get this thing done at the bank. Or man, I should have made more time tomorrow. This is what we gonna do next week. This is what we gonna do. Or oh, I get to go to the bank. Let me see my money hitting for. Oh, I get to talk, get to go talk to some more money people. I might get to meet a new teller. This person might be assistant manager. You always gotta have that proper reframe to get more energized and in a better state so you can actually get the thing done. It's okay to be in a neutral state, but you want to lean into the positive state where you embracing that actual task so that it's no longer procrastination, it's proactivation. That's what we gonna call that, right? So you being more proactive mentally so that you can go get the thing done. That's how I look at it. Okay. And so that's my powerful reframe. I just kind of invert the thing like, all right, if I feel that resistance, I'm embracing the resistance head on. I'm telling myself, oh, I'm ready to do that thing. Any days that I don't want to work out as much, oh, I get to work out. Even if I ain't got 100% in the tank and I don't have time to do the whole full workout, we getting in 10 to 15, 20 minutes hard, and then we're just gonna keep it pushing. But we're not gonna let how we feel stop us from getting the thing done, because the thing only wants to get done. It does not care about fail. So if you're interested in working with me to help build out your digital strategy, click the link in the description, set up a discovery call, see if I'm a good fit. I did a deeper dive on all of these hacks in my newsletter. That link is in the description as well. Hope you found the video valuable. If you did, like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.